I'm New Age Server Alarm, and this is Alert Tech Security. Today I'm doing a video on the security portion of the Radionics alarm system.
You have fled to panic.
This is a Radionics D1255, and this is the most common type of security keypad used with Radionics panels. Above the keypad, I have an MCCO siren. This is a 126 decibel outdoor siren, and this is the one that makes the iconic burglar alarm siren sound you may have heard in various things. It's actually a very common stock sound effect. These things are incredibly loud, but I have the inside of the horn stuffed with foam so that it's not nearly as loud, but you'll be hearing this going off anyway. And as usual with these videos, I've got some switches above the panel that are used to basically control some zones. And here is the actual panel itself, the D7412G. I gave a tour of the inside of this panel in the Part 1 fire alarm video, but nothing really has changed in here since then. The only big difference being I have the switch for the burg siren enabled this time, instead of the fire alarm. The basic operation of a radionics system is pretty simple. However, there's two things you need to know. First is that the codes can be variable length. It can be from 3 digits to 6 digits. And for this reason, it's necessary to press the Enter key after you're done entering your code. That tells the keypad that you're done entering your code. The other thing is that the majority of the system functions require pressing the Command key. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of different commands written above the numbered keys that do different things on the keypad. But if you just want to do a basic arm and disarm of the system, all you have to do is enter your code, and the system arms. This uses default parameters, which in the majority of systems will just be arming away, or all, as Radionics likes to call it. Disarm that for now. If you are staying on the property and you want to arm stay, which Radionics refers to as partial, you can use instant or delay. So this one basically disables the entry and exit delays, and this one still keeps them. This is the one you would use if you know that nobody's coming inside, because as soon as you open a door, you're going to get a full alarm. This one will still give you an entry delay and an exit delay if you're coming or going. So I guess you could use this one at night and use this one during the day. Command 6 is watch. And watch is what Radionics calls chime. So if we were to open the side door, the keypad does this nice little beep beep. Just like that. It's one of my favorite security system chimes. It's a nice pleasant tone. So, I'll leave that on for now. Now, Command 7 is special, and this is a programmable panic key, as in the system installer programs what it does. By default, it does a fire panic, but because there's no fire protection devices on this particular partition of the system, it doesn't do anything. Command 8 is called perimeter partial. It's basically the same as Command 3, except it automatically bypasses open points. So like if I were to open the front windows, and we do Command 3, you see it fails to arm. Saying check area, area 1 fault, front windows, and now we have the option to force arm if we want to. But if I do Command 8, now it'll force arm automatically, and the system is now arming. It just bypassed the point. So a couple things about points, by the way. On these systems, you can program a point to be forced arm restorable. And basically what that means is that if the zone was tripped and you do a force arm, it bypasses automatically, but then if it goes back to normal, it'll automatically unbypass. I have that set for the front windows, so if I were to flip the switch down to restore the zone, and then flip it up, we get an alarm. Let's shut that off. So now we can see alarm silenced, 1 alarms, front windows, system not ready. So we'll go ahead and restore that. And yeah. Command 9, labeled police, is just a panic alarm. Just like that. So now we're showing 2 alarms on the keypad. So we just need to reset the panel. And this is done by just pressing our code and then escape. And now the panel is back to normal. One more thing about arming is all. So if you just do command 1, that's arming away. If you do command 11, that is arming away instant. So now if you trip a perimeter zone in this mode, it goes straight into alarm, as you just saw. Okay, so now we'll just reset that alarm. There we go. To bypass, which is the last key here, you press command 0, then you enter your passcode, and now you can enter the point number. Now if you're not sure what the point number is, you can scroll to find the point you want to bypass. And then when you get to it, you can just, oops, wrong way. And when you get to it, you can just press enter, and then point 3 has been bypassed. Now it'll ask you if you want to bypass another point. So this time I'll just directly enter 2, and then enter, and then enter. So now it's bypassed. Now, let's say you want to unbypass. First we'll exit out of this. Command 00 is unbypass. Enter. Now same thing like before, you can scroll through the points that are bypassed, and then you can press enter to unbypass it. Or you can enter the point number. So, 2 was the other one. 2 was not the other one, apparently. 3 was the other one. And there we go. And now, once again, like before, it'll ask you if you want to unbypass anything else, but there's nothing bypassed, so there's nothing to do here. Last one here is 0.4 low temperature. This is a trouble point. So it just causes a trouble on the keypad, which we can then silence. And now we reset that, and we'll just reset the panel. So now there's one extra thing that this panel does in alarm mode. So first we need to arm the system. And now we'll just set it into alarm. And escape. So you notice how this time I pressed escape instead of enter to silence the alarm. The reason why I did that is that now we've actually silenced the alarm but left the panel armed. So as you'll see right here, perimeter instant instead of ready. So now that's used in a situation where, let's say you accidentally put it into alarm and you just want to silence it and still leave it armed. So just reset that zone, and then we'll just disarm now. And I type out my password. There we go. Okay, so next are the rest of the commands on the system. I'm not going to demonstrate every single one of these in the video, but there's basically 2 sets of commands. We've got all the commands that start with 4, which I like to call operating commands. And then we've got all the commands that start with 5, which I like to call programming commands. So first we'll go over the operating commands. On the side of your screen you're going to see all the commands that start with 4. But we're only going to go through a few of them in this video. So first let's try walk test, command 44. It basically works the same way as fire walk test as you saw in the previous video on this system. But the only thing it will not do is fire zones or supervisory zones. So just get out of that. There we go. Back out of that. Another one is send test report and send status report. These are commands 41 and 42. Basically, 41 sends a report to the receiver. That's essentially a test to make sure the panel is reporting. Just a manual test. And then command 42 is a more detailed version of that basically just sends a whole lot of information to the receiver about the current status of the panel. Like what's armed, what's bypassed, stuff like that. Command 43 is used for initiating remote programming, but Command 45 is changing the date and time on the system. Command 46 is door control, which is used to unlock a door if there was one connected. And then Command 47 is sensor reset. Some Radionics fire systems use this keypad, but in a red version, and pressing detector reset on the actual dedicated fire keypad does basically Command 47. And lastly, Command 49 is change display, which is used to brighten the display, dim the display, or show the time. So now we can see the current date and time on the panel. There. Now for the 5 set, and these are the ones that I call the programming commands. Here's a list on the side of the screen again, like before, for what all the commands do. So Command 50 is used to jump to another area on the system. The only other area I have on this system is the fire side, so there's really no point in doing that. Command 51 is used on systems that have what's called a closing window, where the panel expects to be armed before a certain time, and if it's not, it'll report a fail to close to the central station. This can be used on systems where if it's not armed before a certain time, that means that something went horribly wrong and need to do something about it. Command 51 is used to extend that window in case the person in the building needs to stay a little bit longer before they arm the system and leave. 52 is used for scheduling, and basically meaning you can program what Radionics calls skeds, which are schedules for the system to do certain things at certain times. Commands 53, 55, and 56 are used for user codes. Command 53 deletes users. Command 55 is used to change your code. And then Command 56 is used to change other users. So let's do Command 56. And enter the master code. Now we'll enter a user number. I have not used 4 on this panel. So now we're at, user 4. Enter. And now we got some options here. Let's try adding a code to that user. So press enter. And we'll enter a new code for that user. There we go, passcode added. So now we can add a level, which is an access level for the panel. There's different levels. It's a highly customizable system, and the levels will depend on the individual system's programming. Or we can add a card. Now, if we had an access control system on this system, which I do have one, I just don't have any working cards for it, this is where you would actually scan a card to assign it to this user, and then they could use a prox card to control the system. Something I hope to show in a later video. Now, Command 53, like I said, is used to delete a user. So we'll delete user number 4. Delete user number 4, you want to confirm, and now it's deleted. So back out of that. There. And then Command 55 is used to change your passcode, meaning the current user's passcode. So if I do Command 55 and then 1234, now it wants me to enter a new code. So let's say 2345 and then 2345 again, and now my master code has just been changed. So if I do 1234 enter, no authority. But if I do 2345 enter, now it works. So let's go ahead and change that back. What are you doing? Oops. There we go. Now we're back. Okay, moving on. Command 54 is used for controlling relays. So basically you just enter the relay number you want to control, like for example 2, and you press enter, and then relay 2 on, yes. And then you can turn it back off after that. Relay 2 off, yes. Command 57 is called default text, and basically this system ready right here, and this system not ready, is all stuff you can program on these panels custom. If you want to see what the default text looks like though, you can do Command 57, and for some reason this one is passcode protected. So by default these panels would say A1 area 1 is off, and then it goes back to ready. Now what I meant by protected by passcode when I said that is that all of the system commands can be set to require passcode or not require passcode. So like for example, I could turn this off for arming instant so that pressing command 2 would just go straight into arming. It wouldn't like ask you for a code first. Command 58 is fire test, which is walk test for fire zones, which there aren't any on the burglary portion of the system. And then Command 59 just gives you information about the panel. This is a D7412 revision 6.3. Memorizing these commands can be a pain. So there is a menu with different options you can choose from. And you're seeing all the same things we were just talking about scrolling on the screen right now. That is pretty much the operation of these systems. I didn't show every single thing in detail, but it just gives you an overview of how these work. I do apologize that this video didn't have much to look at other than the keypad and the switches, but that's the thing about showing these videos about the keypad operations. There's not much to see. But thank you for watching, and as I like to say always, like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great night.